Con Prime recibes bombillas en un día. Edison estaría orgulloso.
Orgullosísimo.
Recibe rápido los esenciales diarios. Prime lo cambia todo.
It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme is everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.
Hi there, I am Adam Kirbas and you are listening to my podcast, Political Science. There is truth, but there is political truth. There is justice, but there is political justice. And there is freedom, but political freedom. Now these things, they all seem ridiculous. Why would we separate those two things? Either it is true or not. Well, I will argue with that in those upcoming minutes. To start with, we would all agree that there is one truth. We grew up with it. I mean, we know math. We all had, in a way or another, math in school. There is only one correct answer. This is at least I got told, which is pretty much true. Math was, in a way, created. It is, if you want, an artificial science, which had its goal to help human beings, to make things easier. If we would have to readjust every time how long, well, I don't know, 1 meter is, or I don't know, in the US they have this other system, or in the UK, I'm afraid I don't know much about this system. However, if we would every time some sort of renegotiate how long is 1 kilometer, how long is 1 meter, whatever it is, then we would end up pretty much dead end. Or weights, this was one of the great accomplishments, that there is one weight system. However, we have derived our perception of truth partially through math. There is one truth, and the other part through religion. This is very important indeed. Religion, there is one true God, there is one true salvation, and so on and so forth. So we grew up with this notion, truth. There can't be any, if you want, spaces or free spaces where you could argue. Well, there are many forms of truth. Even the ancient Greeks told us, well, you can. There's one truth. True and false cannot coexist. This is pretty much ridiculous. So why we bring up political truth and we emphasize, well, it is different from a normal truth. Well, we all grow up in a way or another inheriting our social standards. We inherit them from our parents, from our ancestors, whatever you have. I mean, every child in a way or another inherits not only the genes of their forefathers, but as well as their social standard. I mean, Pierre Bourdieu talked about social milieus, where you inherit the social capital, which means your financial wealth. We immediately think about wealth if you inherit or should inherit your parents' possessions, their fortunes, as well as you mostly inherit parents' cultural capital. This is what Bourdieu said. So this meaning, which meaning your cultural, the cultural education from your parents, you inherit them, you inherit their language. If you are a migrant, partially or not, partially inherit them or not. However, you to to the chase, you inherit your worldview. This is what we would agree on. If your parents are conservative, you will think the same. If your parents are left, it is likely that you will be left too. Or if they are religious, you will become partially religious too, or find a way to be in another way religious, whatever it is. However, and so our social understanding, and this what we inherit our social standing, is part of our identity. Everyone would agree on this. This is not just there may be a lot of, I don't know, Smith. Smith is a very common name in the English. There are a lot of Smith, but if you would meet one Smith who is, I don't know, John Smith, and the other is Leland Smith, you pretty much can assume they probably do not share the same social background, despite the fact that they share the same surname. And this is part of our identity, how we see the world and how we perceive our world view as true. We, in a way, there are not many people you will meet who will some sort of say that their worldview, that they're crap, whatever. This is not how it works, because if someone thinks that his worldview is wrong, then he will eventually change it, and if he does not, well, this person is probably about to do something stupid. However it is, we have an approach to our world that we perceive how we conduct ourselves to be true, that is, or we act according in that way. We will later talk about just this. Now we are at truth. We perceive, for example, that what we believe in, let's say, I don't know, you believe in one God, not in a polytheistic God, and so on, this to be true. Or we perceive that we are, I don't know, if we come from a working family, that our worldview and how we see the world as true, meaning, for example, that hard work or that everything that you make with your hands, which you construct, you own, and this has more value. For example, you are your own, you can some sort of manage your own life because, I don't know, you are a carpenter, you know how to fix things, you know how to make furniture, and this makes you in a way independent. I was a carpenter, and I heard a lot of fellow carpenters saying that they are more men than others because other people, they are not even capable of putting a picture on the wall, for example. However, it is, we say, perceive our world as truth, as well as this goes the other way around as well. For example, if you are or if you are conservative in a way, politically conservative or whatever is, when you have a certain worldview, we are not it. Justice there, but worldview, we stay there, and you perceive it as true, as valid. This is the next thing, some sort of valid. And truth, in that sense, some sort of, we would differ from, I would say, mathematic truth. Mathematic truth, we immediately would assume, this is a number. What is, I don't know, 8 plus 10? Well, we know the answer. This is a number, this is clear. But here, we pretty much assume that this is some sort of opinion-based. Well, it is more than opinion. And if we want to understand human beings, this is what we are trying to do here in our podcast about political science. If you want to be a good leader, if you want to be a good politician, you have to understand what people think about and what people perceive to be truth. And we live in a time of identity politics. This means truth, or how you conduct your life, is a crucial thing. Imagine if you are, let's say, in the US, a Republican, You perceive your values, how you see and validate the world to be true. Whatever it is, I mean, you say you are, I don't know, law, you are more conservative at law, you are in law terms, you are more conservative if it comes to family. For you, the institution of marriage is holy, and so on and so forth. And if you are, let's say, a Democrat, you're supposed to be, this is not always the case I gained different experiences in Austria. However, if you are leftist, if you are Democrat, you mostly have some sort of progressive worldview. We are all that people in a way or another perceive this to be true, and so forth and so on. And this gives our life meaning. And of course, we are stout defenders of our worldview, which we perceived to be true, despite the fact. I mean, if this is part of your identity, this is more than one math formula. This is about you. This is how you are. And if your identity is questioned, you indeed will defend it against others. Defend them against all signs of questioning, because since it is not a mathematical truth, your worldview, which you perceive as truth, will always be questioned. This is how life it is. It will always put itself into conflict with reality. You have then two possible alternatives. Firstly, you some sort of seclude yourself from society, some sort of create your own society where you do not have to face the outside world. I mean, this would be partially with the Amish. I don't wanna demean any Amish, whatever it is, but that they some sort of seclude and isolate themselves from the society. You could partially perceive as, in a way, trying to maintain the worldview without having to face challenging questions like what purpose does this follow, or is it not the case that if I face those challenges, if I face those questions against my identity, against my worldview, that I could some sort of gain more experience in knowing myself, or I could some sort of strengthen my belief despite those questions, and so on and so forth. So, or you some sort of, like we said now, some sort of face those other identities, face those other truths, and so on. However, it is always questioned. It is questioned by reality, and we some sort of try to live with it. And therefore, political truth means an opinion-based validation of the world we have inherited. This is important, from our forefathers, and apply it to our daily understanding of the world we live in. It is fragile. We always have to construct the truth, and we of course will always try to find people who agree with our worldview. This is, for example, our friends mostly. I mean, I do know that most of our friends are mainly from our social sphere. They are either from the same. They belong either to the same religious groups, to the same social class, and so on and so forth. But we agree in a way or another in our worldview, in our culture, and so on. So you some sort of create around yourself the validation of your worldview. This may be religious, this may be cultural, political. If you are a conservative, you will most likely have conservative friends, if you are a Democrat, a liberal, whatever have you, you will have mostly only liberal friends. If you're a Catholic, if you're a Protestant Jew, whatever you have. So we some sort of, despite this, despite having a lot of opportunities to socialize, we some sort of stay with each other, and we some sort of perceive or have our friends or whatever, which constantly remind us or in a way validate our worldview. This is what it is. But however it is still fragile. It is still fragile. It is not in written. It is not hammered in stone. It is no mathematical truth, and we always have to recreate it. And as a politician, you need to know that. And this is being done by many people. For example, the far right. The far right, some sort of know about the truth, especially here during the pandemic. This is once again a big issue. This is not about getting the vaccine or not. This is about identity. This is about who you are, how your worldview, how you want to be perceived in the world, but as well as how you perceive yourself. And of course, you seek after people whom you think that they will, in a way or another, support your worldview. They will be, in a way or another, some sort of help you to get the edge or whatever you have. And of course, you want to prove to others that your identity is some sort of beyond those others, or means more than others. Because in a challenging world, there are not one truth but many. And then, for example, in the political sphere, you some sort of see that someone else has, in a way, a worldview which differs from yours, and he or she will probably offer and mostly claim as well that her worldview or his worldview is at least as valid as yours. So politicians, they take advantage of this fact. You can either create some sort of identity, you some sort of give these people relief, because if your worldview, your identity is challenged every day, this is getting exhausted. This is it. For example, if you have, I don't know, some very unique worldview, this is always questions. Oh my God, and you have to work all this through, and then comes someone along, a politician who tells you, well, you are not that wrong at all. This has been done by many politicians. It is in the past, it has been still done, and this works. This works by, if you want, at some fringe societies or some fringe groups, but it works as well as we saw it now in the pandemic, with this big issue of vaccination. And it works both ways. So it is not as against anti-vaxxers, it is as well as for vaccination as well. You can and you will always perceive that political or that identity is always a crucial part of it. So political truth, therefore, differs a lot from actual truth, from mathematical truth. And as a politician, you have to heed those signs. Now we will continue with political justice. That a society is ruled by law is one of the greatest accomplishments of civilization. It is true that it cost a lot. I mean, this already started in the antiquity. Those people, for the first time, thought about how can we make a just state, how we can create some sort of justice within a state. And this has been going on since ever since bloody revolutions were fought about this justice, the rule of law, which guarantees in a way that everyone is equal and shall be treated equally in front of the court, in a law, whatever have you, so that every law, we would assume, applies to everyone. It is true that in reality this is not the case. Some are more equal than others, in order to use George Orwell, one famous chapter, or one famous line in George Orwell's Animal Farm, which is, by the way, very interesting. I would recommend, especially those who are not English native speakers, may not know this great novel or novella, but it is great stuff. However, justice, and we pretty much assume that justice is being applied, at least in the Western world. If justice comes always with the notion of a working democracy, and no matter what it is, in a court, things will always, or justice will be spoken. I know the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict has led to some controversies within the US. However, what it is, this is justice was spoken. America is a working democracy. It is not a crooked state like I don't know, like Austria or Poland. It is a working state, and justice was spoken. However, but why we differ between justice and political justice? Justice again, or political justice again, has to do a lot with our worldview. This is always a crucial part. And if you are a politician, you better know a little bit about sociology, because sociology, those social classes, social groups, this is not only two classes like you are being taught by Marxism, like there would be workers, the proletarians, and there would be the capitalists. This is not true. This is too oversimplified. And if you are a good, or if you want to be a successful politician, you will pretty much do away with this oversimplicity, but rather to understand the society as what it is. It is a complex entity with many social groups. There is not only one social group, like, I don't know, women, but there are many. There are, I would say, black women. There are Asian women. There are poor, wealthy, educated, uneducated, and these all play into a social class, a social group, if you want, a milieu. You know? This is pretty much interesting indeed, as well as necessary to understand the people, and this has been done by many politicians. You see this in the US before elections. Every political party sort of tries to gather support in all those different political groups and political spheres. So every political sphere has an identity, and a truth, an understanding of truth, but as well as an understanding of justice and a just life. But in general, we would assume from justice, or the common man, if he thinks about justice, what comes into his mind? Please keep in mind that we live in an age where, I don't know, TV shows like CSI and crime and so on is some sort of overcrowded. If you switch on the movie, if you switch on the TV, it is most likely that you will see or watch a crime movie or TV show and so on. So this is pretty much very popular. However, it is a common man, when he is being asked what he thinks about justice, he will assumably state that just this would be to bring criminals to trial, to trial criminals and some sort of bring them their rightful punishment and so on and so forth. So this is what we would immediately assume as just this, that people live an unjust life, like say a criminal who has been deceiving other people, who has been robbing other people's identities, a pedophile who avoids being registered as sex offender and so steals other people's life identities. To avoid this, we immediately would assume that there has to be some sort of a judge or that there has to be a police who catches them and brings this villain to a court, and in court this person gets the right punishment. And this belief in this rightness, in right and wrong, this is partially derived from religion. This is partially as well as derived from philosophy. If you read some ancient ancient philosophical texts, you pretty much see that there would be a natural order. This is some sort of key. The same you have in religion. There is a natural order, if with good and bad, and this natural order does not only entail some sort of just and unjust, but it as well as entails or is portrayed as a way, some sort of a way or a scale where everything is some sort of in exchange to each other. This is pretty much difficult to explain, but simply put that, let's say if you have let's say that things you do, they pay off. In that sense, let's say if you are a just man or if you're a just woman, that your behavior or your action will pay off. This is what we will brought off. I mean, this is what you can see in the philosophers of the antiquity, that if you act justly, this is not about just about you about acting just, but this pays off. This is what you have in religion. If you some sort of attend Sunday church every day, but not every day, of course, only on Sundays, then this pays off. You come closer to your salvation. You will be happy, or you feel relieved. Everyone who is religious knows that if you go to a church or some sort of speaker prayer, if you are brought up that way, you feel some sort of inner elation, a relief, either that you did something good or that you avoided hell, whatever it is. But this is some sort of a true feeling of elation. And we some sort of assume justice pays off, and everyone who is unjust is brought to an or is a miserable wretch and must be unhappy, and so on and so forth. So either way, and mostly are those people unjust who some sort of do not share our values, do not share our worldview, do not share what we assume, and so on. Imagine you are a conservative, and you put a lot of emphasis on family, society. There is a society, no matter what Margaret Thatcher said. Society, there is a society. Society, firstly, consists of individuals, and secondly, of family. This is some sort of a conservative approach. The family is the center of the society. This is what you have in the philosophers in antiquity as well. Aristotle said that family is the family or the oikoi is the center of the society, if you want. This would be some sort of a conservative approach, and everything that is just for the family. So, however, you have a society, not only in the left, and everyone who differs from a worldview, let's say, that you want to bring up your children in a certain way, that you like every parents who wants their children to have it good, then your certain approach you can be, and so on, is you consider as just. I mean, I some sort of want to avoid to bringing too much examples, but this example I will bring whatever. But let's say one of these old discussions: are you pro-life or are you pro-choice? This has a lot of to do with just this. I mean, this is a life you destroy, but as well as with free choice. This is again something you have with just this of a woman can choose her own life. This is true as well, so she can do as well. But on the other hand, that there is a life being destroyed, this is as well as something we would subsume under the rubric of justice. However, in general, we would assume just this. If you are, let's say, if you go every day on every Sunday on church, you know that you live a just life. You assume you live a just life, whatever you have, and that you are being happy. And everyone who does not go to Sunday church must be a miserable wretch. Or if you are a leftist, for that matter, if you think that the rich that they exploit poor people, that they are cold, heartless, which is pretty much the narration, at least what I heard of. This is the narration that those cold-hearted, wealthy people, they are shallow, they are superficial, they don't care about others, and their lives must be miserable, and all these evil things they do, they exploit poor people, and this will eventually be their end, and they will pay for it. Again, justice. This is how it proceeds. So just this, in that sense, always some sort of puts again your identity at the forefront. You are some sort of a role model. This is what you assume, because just assumably, if you think that other peoples are just, and you think yourself as a role model, that you think that those others, that they have not met their judge, either their judge in this world or in God, their eternal judge, so they're avoiding punishment. You assume that they are not happy. Well, if you see them happy, then you mostly assume there is something going wrong. This is like someone gets away with it. If you see a criminal on the street, let's say you are in Austria, and you see some criminal villains walking down the street because, I don't know, they are part of a political plan. They are to save the reputation of one political party. You some sort of feel that there is something wrong in justice. There is something peculiar, at least. This is what you hopefully would not assume in a society which is ruled by law and not by demagogues. But however, we know this feeling. There is some guy, some woman, we don't like it, and he or she seems to be happy, her worldview and her lifestyle differ a lot from us, and she's some sort of, or he or she, they're all happy, they have it all. Or if we assume, for example, if we some sort of live a temperate life, as it is suggested by Aristotle, let's say we live modest, we some sort of sacrifice a little bit for our well-being, or if we some sort of dedicate us to a cause which needs from our sacrifices, whatever these sacrifices are, we presume in a way or another that it will pay off. either it will pay off in this world, like it will pay off if we assume that we act good and we are good in a kind that, or that if we assume that we did not anyone any wrong, we are good and nice people, then we assume it will be perceived that way. This is what we would agree. If you are nice to someone else, it will pay back. This person will be nice to you. Or if you go on every day on or every Sunday to Sunday church, you assume you will enter heaven, despite the fact that in there nothing is sure. So the only thing I heard which you can enter heaven for sure is when you are made a saint by the Catholic Church. This is at least Catholicism. However it is. But then you see others who get away with it. People who do not meet their justice. Especially when we feel that we some sort of deserve an award. Let's say you assume, this is very common among men, you assume that you are a nice guy and that you're supposed to have the girl, but your opponent has her, and your opponent is ass, and he's not a nice person, and then you look at this girl, this beautiful, decent girl, and she has this ass point as a boyfriend, and not you. This is a very common theme in many high school dramas, in many TV shows, and so on and so on. So we do not get the reward for being a nice guy and so on. And this is what we assume as unfair. In animes and other people get away with it, but then what you have in TV shows, sooner or later you get the girl, and the other guy or she some sort of perceives that the other guy is a crook, or that he does not love her at all, or betrays her, does not value love, and only you as the nice guy, you know what love is, and so on and so forth. So this plays a crucial part in your understanding of just and being just, conducting a just life. For example, that you go to work every day, that you do not take advantages of other people, that you respect other people, or that you some sort of work your ass off to make your family a living, and you assume that this will play off decent people, or that you do not deceive anyone, and in return you don't want to be deceived either, or if you have never wronged someone because you think this is wrong, hopefully, then you some sort of assume, this will some sort of pay back. I will be treated respectfully, and so on and so forth. So just, or conducting yourself justly, has as well as with some sort of to do with firstly with that you again perceive that your life, worldview, whatever it is, your truth is being righteous. This is very important. You think that you are a role model of justice. It doesn't matter whether you really act as a role model, but as from a sociological view, you assume that you are a role model, and that you conduct yourself justly, and those people who do not either follow your lead, or who some sort of differ from your worldview, will in the end meet justice. And this meaning that they will be punished for what they don't do, for what they lack, and so on and so forth. So political justice, this then is a righteous belief in a natural just order, which would favor one's own identity, lifestyle, and worldview, but it is fragile again, and you have to construct it every time because just this works awards. It is not that simple, or it is not that you can just some sort of or if you. This is again with truth. Your truth worldview always meets challenges. This is what we have to understand how human thinking is in the political spheres, because we're still in the political sphere. We try to understand from people from a political perspective, and that's why we call these things political truth and political justice. And the next time we will talk about political freedom as a third option. However, we want to understand people's thinking and how other people either speak to those peoples or take advantage from them. This is and with political justice, this you again have in continental Europe some far-right parties. For example, this is happening before elections. There's some sort of announcement now this is Justice Day. We will punish those people who do not respect you. This is a common theme in continental Europe. This was partially a theme when Donald Trump ran for president. So the real people, the real Americans, they have not been hurt by this Washington elite, and now Donald Trump, the law and order guy who brings justice to you and to the world, because firstly, this is just this to you that you some sort of what those other people who some sort of either mocked you, which Hillary Clinton did in calling Trump supporters despicable, and then you assume that those people who do not respect you, who in a way look down on you, who some sort of fancy themselves, or at least you assume that they think that they are something better than you, which if you are from the working class, or if you are not educated, you pretty much assume that everyone who has a college degree assumes that he or she is better than you, and then a politician comes along and say, no, you are important, your life is American, it is true, it is genuine, and now I bring just this to you in going to Washington and make you heard, make your lifestyle heard. And those just this in that sense means that those people, they would be punished, and before election, or the election is about punishing other people. And this was even perceived by Democrats as well. And this is a very common theme in continental Europe now. Those people who are in power, who think that they are better than you, now they will meet a miserable end. They will be trialed. You are the judges, and you will punish them for not respecting you, or assumably for not respecting you, for not validating your worldview, your truth, and now then you will get your justice. This is what political justice is all about, and you have to understand these things. However, this was Adam Kebas from Urdu in the pandemic. I hope that you are all doing fine and that you take care of yourselves. Bye.
It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme is everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.